when they can pay 3 for a dollar.
Part of it is it's a mindset, right? It's a paradigm. But people don't think about light the way you're describing this universe of potential from light and beneficial aspects of light. I think with that paradigm in place, it would be different. It's like paying for good food, good wine, good supplements. People think nothing of paying for supplements.
Exactly. So it has to, things like you're doing here with this interview and other sources of information about light, it just, once people start thinking about it and then people say, I want a full spectrum light, then there will be made more and they will be distributed more and the price will come down even further.
I love it that they're not yellow bulbs. That yellow bright light is just terrible feeling. It feels terrible.
Yeah, yellow is the worst color on the human body. It causes your nerve endings to contract. It causes your eyes to squint. It causes glare on paper. It is the single worst frequency or wavelengths of light. And so we get a double whammy. When we don't get our sunlight from outside because we spend all of our time inside, then we are subjected to the wrong kind of light. So we get a double whammy. Not only are we starved for our sunlight, but we are punished more by the yellow light. And so when you replace every current type yellow-orange bulb, whether it be a fluorescent bulb or an incandescent or a halogen, by replacing each one of those, you remove a irritant and a depressant and a disease-causing situation. You're taking it out. You're getting rid of the stuff that's inside. And at least you're making your habitat inside closer to sunlight. You're bringing sunlight from outside to inside, and you're banishing the bad light.
You got me all excited when you were talking about the advances of blue spectrum. Talk about that.
Okay. Remember I said the light coming in from sunlight, which includes UV and sunlight, that affects the cones of the eyes. Our eyes have two features in them. They have rods and they have cones, and they respond to different things, different wavelengths. Well, the almost all lights are what are called photopic, which means they have brightness. They respond to brightness like yellows and orange, and so when we treated seasonal depression, we created sunlight, which UV and bright light, which really affected the cones of the eyes, and then affected the hypothalamus gland in the way we discussed earlier, positively. Well, they discovered, too, that a blue light that is used for night vision, it's very low level, it's a blue part of the spectrum, and they found out that, the blue part of the spectrum affects the rods of the eyes. They call this scotopic, low intensity, instead of photopic, high intensity. And they found that this was really helpful in doing the same thing with hypothalamus to reduce some symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, SAD. And so there was a good alternative treatment. And so what we saw happening, though, is that the blue was integrated along with the full spectrum, so that many types of blue, and you don't really see the blue. It's still like white light, but it's got blue in it. And so we found that that's great. That's a positive thing. It means you could be treated with full spectrum light, the regular type sunlight with UV, and you could be treated with the light that contained blue. And you don't even have to have full spectrum for the blue to work. You don't really need the full spectrum. The blue affected it. But the problem is that I think manufacturers and distributors latched onto the fact that, we know UV is good, but it's got such a bad press, so let's eliminate UV and use the blue and treat seasonal depression with blue. So again, UV caused even full-spectrum manufacturers to not only incorporate blue, but almost swing to blue.
Do you sell the bulbs that are both full spectrum and blue?
Yes. In fact, almost every, the best way, today's world, almost all compact fluorescents do not contain UV. The blue lights obviously do not contain UV. Still, the best way to get UV into your body is with the 4-foot tubes that are, in the ceilings. All of those are still made with UV and full spectrum, even though they put some blue in it. So right now, the UV source that is the best are the 4-foot tubes, or various length tubes that are in the fixtures. And when you get those, you really want to get what are called the skinnier tubes, the dash T8 tubes, as versus the old fatter tubes, which are T12. The only reason is not the bulb, but the fixture. T8 fixtures do not put out radiation. They do not put out flicker. The older fixtures for T12s have radiation coming out of them, and they flicker. So today's world, the new T8 fixtures are desirable with full spectrum bulbs in them.
What an interesting life you lead. You lecture at many conferences, health conferences.
Yeah.
Are you traveling a lot now?
No, I've been doing this for 25 years and, I don't know, some 600 lectures or so. So now that I'm in Hawaii, I tend to have throttle back on the lecture circuit. And it's okay. Traveling around's a lot. And so I don't do as many lectures anymore as I used to.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us on this segment of It's Rainmaking Time about light?
Two things. One is, if people want to go to our website, it's lightenergycompany.com, and you got to spell company all the way out. lightenergycompany.com. Also, our telephone number is 800-544-4826. That's 800-544-4826. And the letters are LightCo, 1-800-LIGHT-CO. And I say that because people can send emails in from there. They can go look at it. They can get more information. Because what I'm saying in today's world, other than the things that we've talked about already, is that with so much problems, with so much medical conditions, so many things coming out, that the one thing people can do as a preventative is to keep that immune system up. And the 5 ways that I can recommend for keeping immune systems up and healthy. Number 1, get your quota of 30 minutes to 2 hours a day of sun. Number 2, use full spectrum lights for at least 6 hours a day to get your equivalent of 30 minutes of sunlight. Use far infrared. Saunas are good things to boost immune systems. The use of these LED units, the light-emitting diode used for repairing tissue, can be used on the bloodstream to boost the white cells, B and T cells in the bloodstream. So you can actually use these single wavelength red lights to boost the immune system cells to actually cause them to be stronger and healthier. And so those are 4 ways with light to do it. And there's also one concept of heat therapy that will cause the body to produce more immune system cells from the bone marrow. And it's on the website. It's called a thermal therapy, and it's really a rectal heat unit for prostate conditions and for hemorrhoids. But as a side effect, as an additional effect, it causes the body to produce immune system cells. So what I'm saying is there are 5 reasonably natural